Okay. So we'll just start from the previous one and then go and get. Got any volunteers who can chant after me? Shubha, you're there? Okay. So we will start from verse number 10 and then get into the teaching. Tamuvacha Hrishikeshaha
तमुवाच ऋषिकेशः तमुवाच ऋषिकेशः
Prahasanniva Bharata
प्रहसन्निव भारत प्रहसन्निव भारत
Senayor Madhye
सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये
Vishidantamidam Vachaha
विषीदन्तमिदं वचः विषीदन्तमिदं वचः
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच श्रीभगवानुवाच
Ashochananvashocastvam
अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वम् अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वम्
Prajnavadamscha Bhashase
प्रज्ञावादाञ्च भाषसे प्रज्ञावादाञ्च भाषसे
Gatasu Nagatasumscha
गतासु न गतासूंश्च गतासु न गतासूंश्च
Nanushocanti Panditaha.
नानुशोचन्ति पण्डिताः नानुशोचन्ति पण्डिताः.
Okay. So from this verse of this chapter 2, verse number 11, really the teaching of Bhagavad Gita starts. So, and a little bit, I'm not going to give the full context of it, but as we saw in that Karpanya Dosha Upakata Swabha, that verse number 8, where Arjuna surrendered to Lord Krishna and seek his Upadesham as a guru and as a Sishya, the Guru Sishya Upadesha, Krishna kindly blessed him to be his guru and started to teach this verses from number 11. And we said that the previous verse where Arjuna was a Vishidan, it is still he's in a Dukkha Shoki in the battlefield where he's not able to take the arms, rather he is completely decided not to fight, but he's still in a Shoka Moham that he wanted the nivritti or the release from the Dukkha Shokam. So Krishna, being the Jagat Guru, Prahasan that we saw that he being now understanding that this Purnavataram opportunity has come, the right moment has come to give part to everybody in this world, this great teaching of Bhagavad Gita, having Arjuna as the Nimitta Karanam or the instrumental cause, he is starting to speak these words, Shri Bhagavan Vacha. So as usual, the numbering way that we go through, we will slowly go through that. And we will also recall some of the context as we go through the terminologies which we called as paribhasha words, or in Tamil they say paribhasha circle. So they are very important when we come into this particular context of these verses, especially in Gita. And as I said, in Gita, the Krishna's teaching he will be switching context. That is why we need to know the context of those words. Is the same word Atma, as I said before, sometimes can just represent this physical body, sometimes it can mean just the mind, or sometimes the absolute Atma. And so in those contextual references, the words to get the right Tattva Jnanam or the Tattva Bodham, that context has to be exactly taken. And we talked about three important contexts, being one is Paramarthika Drishti, that is Drishti means vision or the context as how one should visualize those teaching. Paramarthika means Paramartha means that absolute, Parama Artha. The meaning of that is Paramam, the ultimate. So as such, when we say Paramarthika Drishti, the meaning, the essence, the jnanam on that is very absolute and of the supreme nature, for which it is very important on the relative nature or the relative context or relative reality, which we call as Vyavaharika Drishtihi. And the Vyavaharika Drishtihi, which is what is a transactional in nature, what we transact, we converse, and we understand, and everything is in the base of that absolute stratum, or in that plane which we call as Paramarthika Drishtihi. And Krishna's teaching from these words 11 is all in Paramarthika Drishtihi. But we seekers of the knowledge, we understand. But we also have to put ourselves in the position of Arjuna, who has not had these. He's a student still learning. So we have to be also understanding certain time from Arjuna's context is relative context, from Krishna's context is Paramarthika Drishti. Okay. So Krishna in this verse 11, first, as a guru, and as I said in the last time, he represents in every verse as an ultimate guru. So the first thing he's trying to give here to Arjuna is don't worry. Because that worry has to be, so as I said, the guru, a Shishya has come from long distance. The first thing he gives him is, have you eaten first? Have you taken a rest? And he does that ashvasam, or he does that first need is addressed, and then only the teaching can start. So similarly here, Krishna is addressing his first need, that his worry must be removed. So the shoch, that shoch word itself means thinking very much in a worry. Like, Hindi also, kya tum sochte rehte ho? Right? That one Krishna is saying. So tvam means here Arjuna. So Krishna says, Arjuna, tvam. Number 2, the word there, ashochan. Ashochan means that who ought to be thought about, or negates that. So that means ashochan means the ones, those who are not to be worried. In this ashochan, so tvam ashochan. Number 3, the anushochati, anushochaha, anvashochaha. Anvashochaha is lung, that is past. Anushochasi is lat, lung is anvashochaha. So he's saying ashochan anvashochaha. Anvashochaha, meaning to say those one who are not to be worried, you had been worrying. The minute he has put it into past, he is also indirectly giving him that, look, your worries are now going. And Ashochan, who are the Ashochan here? So, and also another thing I want to tell you, Adi Shankara's Bhashyam starts only from this verse 11. He has just rushed through the whole book. He said, these are all context up to chapter 2, verse number 10. He has not given any explanation except in a big introduction, the first in the Bhashyam. And so because we are also taking Shankara Bhashyam in relation, Shankara Bhashyam starts only from this verse number 11. So in the Ashochan, he says they are Bhishma Dronadayaha. The Bhishma, Drona. And he said what? Swajanam. The minute he went, what did he say when Krishna placed that chariot in between the two army? What was the first word that Arjuna said? Swajanam. My people, our people. Right? That one he came. So those Swajanam, that are Ashochan. Anvashochaha, that you have been thinking about it or worrying about, not think, you are being worrying about it continuously. Anushochasi means you are all the time. Here you saying you had been thinking continuously. And number 4, cha, and what? Number 5 and 6, prajnavadham bhashase. Prajnavadam, prajnaha means one who has known everything. Sometimes in our Sanskritam, sometimes prajna also becomes one who has known everything. Sometimes prakashena agyaha also becomes prajna. But here prajnavadam means like a wise man who has known everything. A medavi, prajna, and a medavi's vadam is prajnavadam. So a prajnavadam bhashase, you are talking all now, up to now, as if you have known everything, because you remember he talked about atatayanaha, papam, narakam, kulakshayam, all those things. All those things is prajnavadam. Right from the swajanam to the last one, he said, all are a prajnavadam. What you had been bhashase, you have been talking. So now Krishna said, yes, I'm seeing this, as we saw in chapter 1, Krishna did not speak one word to all this blabbering of Arjuna. So, but here also, he's not saying you had been blabbering. He says, yes, I know, I have listened to all your words and they were sounding like a wise man. I do recognize, I appreciate. Like, how we say in these words these days. He says, yes, I know you had been speaking like a wise man. Let that be. Don't worry. However, number 7, gata su, gata soon. Gata soon, agadas means gata soon and agata soon. Asu means what? Pranan or Vayu. Gata means what? Poit, gone. So that means gata pranan. Gata soon means gata pranan. Gata Vayu, because pranan is Vayu. So that means gata pranan, gata soon means one who is dead. Gata soon. Then agatasun, A negates that gatasun. Mean who is alive, that who are breathing. Agatasuns, pranan poleno, agatasun, who are living. So gatan, gatasun, agatam soon, cha, number 9. That is cha. And number 10, panditaha, wise men, dhiman, one who are so well learned and who have got that knowledge in them, just not book knowledge. Panditaha na anushochanti. They don't think like this. Ni pandit. See, that's what he is not. See, that is the thing. He's already put him in the pedestal. Yes, you are talking. He did not say, Murkam Vasamsha Beshaje, ye Murkaha. Now listen. See the beautiful way the Krishna is taking to the Sishya. Hey, Sishya, yes, you are talking like a wise man. Yes, you are. Aren't you a wise man now? Pay attention. He's already put him Panditaha na anushochanti. Kintu Gatasu Nagatasu. So the word Pandita, beautiful. Adi Shankara says the word Pandita comes from the word called Panda. Panda means Atma Vishaya Buddhihi Panda. Panda is equal to Atma Vishaya Buddhihi. So that means the Panda means the one who is just not having a book knowledge or the relative knowledge. Absolute Atma Jnana. That is why in North, the people who are there sometimes they are called pandas. And we all think pandas are those beggars who are sitting outside the temple. And, sometimes in Tamil Nadu, the pandas became pandaram. Sometimes they will say another pandaram. So pandaram is taken as a very lower thing, like a beggar or something sitting. No, panda means is Atma Jnani. That panditaha na anushochanti. Those panditas never, in this panda, there's a beautiful one small story. Many of you might have known. A great person who lived around the 14th century in Tamil Nadu called Pattinatha. Pattinatha. He was in a place called Poombuhar. It came as a movie as well. This person was a very rich merchant. He, did travel through ships to, Singapore, everywhere, Malaysia, everything. He was a very rich man. And every time he comes from all the riches, he will go to the king. Those days, these big merchants. And he was with so much of riches. Every time he will go to the king's assembly, and king also will take few things, and he trades and everything. So they were like very much equal because he was such a rich man. So imagine like Ambani going and meeting Modi or something like that. Whatever. These days there are no kings anyway. So afterwards, but he was a very, very learned person, this merchant, though being. So one day he just took sannyasam, and that's it. He discarded all his big wealth and went and took sannyasam from another big yogi, Siddha, and he was sitting outside the temple. So I'm just coming to the last portion of that movie. So the king comes one day near the temple and sees this person who used to have the best of the ornaments, glittering dress, everything so beautiful, equal to the king he used to be. And he's sitting like a beggar outside the temple, having a small coconut shell in which he was just like he's sitting like that. These are typical Pandara. So the king asks him very quietly, tell me one thing, Patinathar, you were such a rich man. Now you are sitting here and you seem to be more happy than when you used to come and see the assembly. So what is it that you have gained? What is it that you have gained? To me, let me know. I know you would say you are happy, but what is it that you have gained for me to understand? So he says, "O king," I'll say it in the Tamil later. First, he says, "When I came to your assembly, you used to be sitting and I used to be standing. Now in my assembly, I am sitting and you are standing. That is my achievement. சபையில் நீர் வீற்றிருக்க நான் நின்றிருந்தோம். இன்று என் சபையில் நான் அமர நீர் நின்றிருக்கிறீரே, அதுதான் நான் அடைந்தது." அப்படி சொல்றார். So the Pandas are, that's what Krishna is saying. Just coming to this thing. He says, "Panditaha na anushochanti." Those people will not, do not worry. So by that statement, when Krishna as a guru gives, automatically Arjuna a little bit is calmed down, is brave. See, the thing is like this: only when that ashvasa buddhi, the ashvasa mind, when the mind and everything is quiet, it's receptive of getting the knowledge. So Krishna, now getting to his knowledge, he has given him the words of that particular introduction. So now from the Paramarthika Drishti, though he has given these words, how he should not be worried, we'll see in the next verse. Natve bhagam jatu nasam.
नत्वे वाहं जातु नासं नत्वे वाहं जातु नासं
Natvam neme janadhipaha.
नत्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः नत्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः
Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha.
न चैव न भविष्यामः न चैव न भविष्यामः
Sarve vayamatah param.
सर्वे वयमतः परम् सर्वे वयमतः परम्.
Okay, this particular words, or this particular shloka appears to be in a kind of an encrypted form. So we need to decrypt it to exactly understand the meaning. So I've given you all just about half an hour ago in your WhatsApp material, which may be very useful for you if you want to bring it across. First thing I want to tell you in this particular shloka is there are 4 clear sentences. We have to catch those 4 sentences. Okay. And in the 4 sentences, one of the key messages, the way Krishna is giving this encryption is, he is giving in every sentence a double negative phrase. A double negative phrase gives you a singular positive tattvam. And there is a chain of thoughts in which Krishna is giving. So as you see now, we see a Vachyartham and Tattvartham. Now the things gets a little bit more intriguing. But having said that, it's our duty to decrypt it, get to the root of the words and understand it. So first I want you to see that one, words number 1 to 7 only. Once we understand 1 to 7, the rest of them will easily flow. So the first one he says, aham, just first we will do that one. Aham. Number 2, jatu. Number 3, na. Number 4, tu. The tveham, tu eva aham. Tu eva aham becomes tvevaham. Okay. Tu. Number 5, asam. Nasam is na asam. Asam. Number 6, na. Number 7, eva. Keep this 1 to 7 intact now. Now, if I read that sentence, it will be like, aham jatu natu asam na eva. It becomes very kind of confusing. Again, I'm doing it now. Aham jatu natu asam na eva. Just keeping the same. So what he's saying, aham, Krishna, when he says aham, himself, Bhagavan, he says aham jatu kadachit. That means at any time, sometime, jatu, yapamad. In Tamil, he says yapavad, jatu. Now, natu asam, put it in the bracket. That's what I say. Na tu asam. Asam means lung. That is past tense. Irundhen. Na tu asam. Illainu irukkirathu. Na tu asam. Asam means irundhen. Na asam illai. Illaingirathu madri. Na tu asam. Na eva. Illai irundhadilliye. Meaning to say, நான் எப்பொழுதாவது இல்லை என்பது எப்பொழுதும் இல்லையே. Now, why he is saying that, we got to understand this. I'll give you a small example. So what Krishna, so that sentence literal meaning we understood. Krishna says, aham jatu, at some time, natu asam, that if I did not exist at all before, na eva, never was there. So that means it appears as, yes, Krishna, you are now talking like a Bhagavan. You are saying you are there. So for example, if I were to ask all of us in this meeting, hey, what did you do at 1947 during the Day of Independence? Where were you? What did you watch it? What happened? Where were you? You're all going to say, how can I say? I was not there to tell you what I was doing during 1947, August 15. No, I think so. All of us were not born. So that means what? What it indicates, I was not born. Here, Natu Asam, that means what Krishna is saying, I was never born, never born. So he says, Arjuna, I was never born. So what he has done is, he has negated birth for himself. It's not that I'm ever born. A person living, teacher telling. So then Arjuna is a bit perplexed now. It's gone a bit weird. What? You're talking to me now and you're telling you are never born. It's not a ghost. So maybe you are a Bhagavan, so it's fine. For you, you are above birth and you are talking like this. Then Krishna says, so 1 to 7, you understood that. He said, he has negated his birth, Bhagavan's birth, Krishna's birth. Next, 8 and 9. Tum na. That's all. He says, tum na. So that what we have to do, I've given you in that WhatsApp. The ones that are written in black, you have to add it to get the meaning. Tvam chana asihi na eva. Chana asihi means the, yeah, where there, okay. Chana asihi na eva. That your non-existence before was also not there. So now Arjuna is saying, okay, you mean to say I was also never born? Okay. So we both are now saying you're also not born, I was also not born. Okay, Krishna. So maybe we both are special. That's why we are in this chariot and you are taking me somewhere. I can understand that. But still we have to be worried about all these people who are there. What about them? So we got to give into statement of what Arjuna will be thinking as well. I can understand me and you, we are sitting in the chariot. But what about these people? Because that's my worry as well in the previous one. So Krishna says from 10 and 11, ime na ime, okay. Ime, neme means na ime. Ime janadipaha, 11. Number 12 down below, na, cha, sorry. 12 is cha. Number 13, na. Number 14, eva. So again, you have to add a little bit more, which I've sent to that one. Ime janadipaha chana asan na eva. Ime janadipaha chana asan plural, that's all, in the lung, asan na eva. That these people who are there in this battlefield, if you think their non-existence was there before, that is also not true. Meaning to say, all these people also were never born. So immediately he is kind of in a state, okay, if they were not born at all, if I'm not born, you are not born, these people are not born, and we are in this battlefield. So you see, then he says, number 4, so you have got 3 clear sentences. I was not born, you were not born. Krishna saying, I was not born, you are not born, these people are not born, ever. And the 4th sentence from number 15, Ataha param, number 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, I've got to go. Ataha param vayam sarve na bhavishyamaha na. Ataf param vayam sarve na bhavishyamaha na. Ataf param. On top of that, after that, vayam sarve, all of us now. Aham tvam janadipaha, all together. Vayam sarve Na bhavishyamaha, that inmel irukka maatonu nenicha aduvum kedaiyadu. That if you think that we won't be there after, that is also negated. When will you say you won't be there in future? Think about that. When your death comes. When I won't exist, yes, say if somebody were to ask you, so what are you planning to do in 2147 Independence Centenary celebration? I don't know, maybe I may kick the bucket before. Or say 2247. 2247, if I say 200th year of Independence celebration, what are you planning to do? Bhaiya, I will never be there, you'll say. 100%. That means what? You will be dead 100%. So that's what Krishna is saying. So what Krishna has done is beautifully negated the birth for everyone and also the death for everyone. That is the key message. To get to that, we have to decrypt this. Now, what he has also done beautifully here, see, these are beautiful teachings from a guru in a beautiful fashion. So what Krishna in a way is saying is, now let's also put it in a perspective. How come he did not talk about present? He talked about past, he talked about future. Because really there is nothing called present. The minute I speak these words, this is past or something is going to come. That is why in Sanskritam, when we say kshanam, that word kshanam, that minute or that particular minute of whatever metrics that you can put on that kshanam means kshiyate nashyati iti kshanam. That it is every time the time is depleting and then it is getting depleting, destroyed. That's why it's called kshanam. Kshiyate nashyati iti kshanam. So there is nothing called present really. If you can go to the most minute detail, there is nothing called present. It's the time is ever flowing. There is always a past and a future only. There is nothing. There's always a past and a future. And both of them Krishna has negated in this from an existence point of a person of a relative context. By beautifully getting to the absolute context. Again, these are all in the Paramarthika Drishti. How he has handled the relative context, and that's how the Upanishads also go in a beautiful of neti neti. But here Krishna has given a big bang right away. This is a very typical of Bhagavad Gita. This you will not find in any other Upanishad. This is so beautiful. So Krishna is now coming into that one, that very simply that we don't have to worry, Arjuna, because there is really nothing like a birth for us or a death for us. Because the worry is only from the birth to the death, or after that, or before that. Even that, there is nothing. You got that message. Now let's go to the next version. Now, having Krishna proved or given him this particular message of removing the worry from an absolute context, right? So by giving this a single positive statement through all these things, but how am I to perceive? Because they are really abstract in their phrase, abstract in their essence. So how am I to really perceive it in a relative context with some drishtantam or some example? So Krishna's gave to the next one within a drishtantam right in this birth. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Shiva, you are not muted. Unmute. Unmute panikama.
12th verse.
Dehinosmin yatha dehe.
Dehinosmin yatha dehe.
Dehi
Dehinosmin yatha dehe.
Kaumaram yauvanam jara.
Kaumaram yavvanam jara. Kaumaram dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara.
Tatha dehantara praptihi.
Tatha
देहान्तरप्राप्तिः
dehantaraptihi. Tatha
देहान्तरप्राप्तिः
Dhirastatra na muhyati.
धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति.
Okay, so now we have understood two things. There is a permanent base, which is we call, say, absolute context. He has not brought any word like Atma or anything, but there is a relative context of existence on top of this. So there is a permanent base of absolute context on which there is a relative context, and Krishna is coming to the Drishtantam aspect of it in this one. So he says, Yatha. So the minute when we see a word Yatha, Tatha, we need to say that's an example in Sanskritam, right? So Yatha, the teacher says, so Yatha, howsoever, number two, Dehinaha. Dehinaha means what? One who is bearing this body, this living. Deha asti iti dehinaha. Dehi. So dehinaha plural, that's all. Dehin. So that particular one, that jivatam, that we are now breathing and living, that agatasum, that yata this dehinaha. So, and because we have done that Vedanta fundamentals, you should also keep it not just only in the Stula Shariram, Stula Deham, Sukshma Deham, and Karana Deham. So just keep that lightly behind, between the scene as well. Good. So that's why that will all be helping you now. So Yata Dehinaha, number 3, Asmin Dehe. Asmin, in this very body of living existence, stula body, the stula shariram. So here dehe means stula sharire. What all he is saying? Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara. 3 avastha he is saying. Kaumaram, that particular boyhood, up to say age 8, 9, 10, that Kaumaram. Then Yauvanam, adulthood or youthhood, and Jara, in the old age. Then though he has not said Prabhavanti, Yada, in this body, we have got 3 avasthas: Kaumaram, Yavvanam, Jara, Bhavanti, Vartante. That's not there, but just put it. Tata. Now we have to give to the, okay, yes, in this body, there are 3 different stages which has gone through. Yes, I do understand. Tata, similarly, Dehantara Prapti. Dehantara Prapti. What is Dehantara means? This Stula Sharira termination of, post termination of this Stula body. Prapti, he is saying beautiful, that you would get something. He never say Aprapti. Dehantara Prapti. What I will get? Dhiraha Tatra Namukhyati. The wise man, Panditaha, again, Dhiraha. So he's putting every time to Arjuna, you got to be this Dhira, got to be this Buddhiman, Dhiraha, Tatra, in that, Tatra Kutra, Dehe, or post the Dehe, Namukhyati, they do not get dissolved into that one. How he is saying this is, say for example, all of us have gone through or going through these 3 avasthas. Right. So, for example, there was a boyhood of mine. Say, for example, there was my boyhood, that particular avastha, that went at some time. You don't realize that one day suddenly, oh, today is my date. Of course, these days they have 18th birthday, 21st birthday, and then they say they are, as if in that birthday they put a switch and they have immediately become adult. Anyway, that's just for celebration's sake. But no one can really say, oh, today my boyhood has gone, Kaumaram has gone. Today my Yauvanam is started. Do you ever realize in this body? They wake you one day, oh, today I become Yauvanam. Never. You don't realize by looking at it in the mirror or anything, but you may realize at some time. But from the boyhood Babu, transcendency, to the youthhood Babu, Babu never changes. Your personality really doesn't change. You remember we said in that personality, individuality. So how you don't really, but you see it in this very same body, though going through 3 avastha, that your boyhood Babu might have gone, but you are still there, Babu. Babu is there. Babu's youth is gone, but Babu is still there. Babu Jara may go, but then at the end he'll die. That's a different thing. But in these 3 avasthas, as far as you are there in the Stula body, how you don't forsake your previous item, your previous personality. For others, it might have gone. You could still think and be there. You understand what I mean? Within the Sukshma Sharira. Similarly, he says, apply between every birth. Similarly, Dehantara Praptihi, Dehantara, this Sthula Shariram, to another Sthula Shariram, Tatra na Mukhyati, do not get worried. You remember I said in the previous one, the Gita teaches the first thing is to get over this birth and death. That's where Krishna is coming into that one. Then the Sishya, the seeker, becomes qualified, get into the Tattva Jnanam. So Krishna in this one said very beautifully with an example. And what is really trying to get him is that Vivekam. For a seeker, that sadhana chatushtaya, first one is bringing that Vivekam. Ataha Viveki tasmin mohena gacchati mukhyati. So atra kutra ataha vivekinaha imam atra dehena mukhyati moham na gacchati. Meaning to say that, hello?
எனக்கு புரியல. நான் கண்டிப்பா வச்சுக்கிறேன்.
Okay. Okay. Next one. So here, what we got to understand is, I just got to mute. I think so. I think you got to mute somebody. Okay. So again, I got to give you some little bit more terminology here. It's called Shad Vikaram. If you want to write it. Shat means 6. In our Shastra, this body goes through Shat Vikaram, we say. Shat Vikaram means changes. Though Bhagavan gives here 3. What are the Shat Vikaram? One is called Asti. So first I will say that, then I will. Asti Jayate Vartate Parinamate Kshiyate Mriyate. This is called Shat Vikaraha. So this body is consisting of, it's a Shat Vikari, meaning to say Asti. Asti means that one, when that existence comes into the mother's yoni, that's Asti. And that is conceived, is that conceivement is called Asti. Then Jayate, the birth happens. A good delivery and the baby is born. Jayate, this is the second state really. Then Jayate, third one is called Vartate, that he grows, he keeps growing. Vartate. Then what happens? Parinamate, after the adulthood, that lot of changes happens in him in all the directions, you know. Parinamate. Then after 45, 50, Kshiyate, it depletes, the depletion phase happens, and the last one is called Mriyate. So this Shat Vikaram, Vikaraha, this Vikaram is only for the Stula Shariram. Atma Nirvikari. Just write it. Deham, Deham, Savikari or Anatma. Anything apart from Atma is Savikari, Atma Nirvikaraha. Nirvikari. That's what he is bringing that. So because that's the qualification of a Viveki. So Bhagavan is bringing that Vivekam into the student. Then next he is going into giving him a bit of a Vairagyam. So having said that, what is the purpose of this one? So of this body then. So the body has got a purpose. Okay, fine, I'm detached from this body. You are selling, okay, let it all do whatever happens body. But what is the purpose of the body? How am I to handle this body? He says, so Vinay, you want to repeat after me, Vinay? Vinay? Can I request you to repeat after me? Thank you. Matra sparshastu kaunteya.
Matra
I let yeah. Well, when I only do say Damoji, you can mute. I just want one after the other, so it will be confusing. So Vinay, you do. Matra sparshastu kaunteya.
Matra spashtasha kaunteya.
Again.
Matra spashtasha kaunteya.
Very good. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha.
Shishnosya.
No. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha.
Shitoshna sukha dukkada.
Very good. Dukkadaha. It has got plural. Huh? So again, try once more.
Sitoshna sukha dukkada.
Very dukkadaha. Okay. Then agama payino nityaha.
Agama paniyo nitya.
Okay, I'll go slow. Agama
Agama
payino
paino
And this actually anityaha, but I got to do together. Okay. Agama payino nityaha.
Agama payino nitya.
Nityaha. Finish with that, please. Once more.
Agama payino nitya.
Very good. Nityaha. Tam stitikshasva bharata.
Tam stitikshasva bharata. Tam stitikshasva bharata.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Okay. So here Krishna is bringing him the next one. So this body is, I've got it. You are saying I have to observe in this body, but how am I to handle the body? So Krishna is saying, hey Kaunteya, number 1. Number 2, Shita. Number 3, Ushna. Number 4, Sukha. Number 5, Dukkha. Daha. Daha means that which is giving. So Kaunteya, Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Daha, this body. I have to understand. So he's saying Shita means cold. So we are in, say, winter, Shitaha. Then say India, Ushnaha, that you are having hot weather. So you may think that Shitam can give you Sukham or Dukkam, whatever it is. It depends upon how you are there. So this cold and heat, how they may give you Sukham or Dukkam, depending upon how you are, depending upon Dukkha Daha. Yes, they do give you this Sukham and Dukkam. Nobody can refute that. Okay, nobody is that. So he says Dukkha Daha, I do accept it. That Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha Daha. But why it happens? Matraha Sparshaastu. Matraha means here, what we have to take it is, I got to give you a little bit example here. You remember in the previous Vedanta fundamentals, I talked to you about Panchikaranam, how the 5 matters of this world, Akasham, like space, Vayuhu, wind, Agnihi, fire, Apaha, water, and Prithivi, earth. These are the Pancha Matraha or the Pancha Bhuta. And we said this body has come into existence because of the Panchikaranam, including the mind. There is one text called Panchadasi, which gives you minute details of how this happens. But anyway, just for taking for reference that this body has come into birth because of the Panchikaranam or because of these 5 basic material in different combination, which we saw in that one. And these Matraha, so this Matra is there outside in the nature. And this body is also made up of different combination of this nature. And he's saying Sparshaha, they are always in contact with them. Sparshaha too. So that is the cause of this. And he says, what only they do, just not Sitosh and Dukkha, Sitoshna Ushna is only an example. So let us do a bit of a more analysis in this. Matra in it's not only, there are 5 Jnanendriyam, Karmendriyam, we said, right? So that's where these things will go and help you. Now the 5 Jnanendriyam, so that means this body is in touch, in always contact with the Pancha Bhuta, and that is giving me different perception or experience in this world, which could be Sukham and Dukkam. So let us go with the first Matra. I said, which one? Prithvi. Prithvi's Matra is called Lam. Lam. If you want, you can write. Lam is the Matra for Prithvi. And what does Prithvi give you? Gandham. In fact, people who may do japa, lam prithivya me gandham kalpayami. When we do with the pancha matra, when we do japa, we do the anganyasam karanyasam, then we do lam prithivya me gandham kalpayami, and we touch the small finger. So because the lam is Prithvi, which is also Mooladharam, that one is the Prithvi is the Gandham. The minute you even offer for Bhagavan, Lam Prithivya me Gandham Kalpayami, you are actually offering the Gandham to Bhagavan, even though it may not be there. So that is one Matra. Then next Matra is Ham Akasham. Akasham for Ham is this thumb. Akasham. This Akasham is for Shabdam. So this is Lam. Akasham, Lam is for ears to hear. Lam Akasham Shabdaha. Ham Akasham Akashaha Shabdaha. Then Yam Vayuhu, this forefinger. Yam Vayuhu Sparshaha. Because of Vayu only you get the heat and cold, really. That when it touches. You know, on a windy day, they say, right, it feels more, the temperature could be 8. They will say, oh, it feels like 5. Because why? Because of more wind. So wind, when it is more with the heat, can make you more hot. With the cold, it's just an example. But Vayu is the cause of this sparsha. Any touch. It's only when there is a Vayu, that Vayu is the one for the Yam. And what is the matra for this? Yam. Sparsha. Then Ram is for Agni, Ram. And Agni Ram is the one by which you see Rupam. So this eyesight is because of the matra called Ram. Vayu. Ram is for Agni. And Vam is for Jalam. Rat is for Rasanam. Or taste. Ram. So the tongue has got Ram. Means tongue has got Ram, means not Ram, matra. Taste. And this one, so sorry, Vam for taste, Ram for sight. Okay, that I will give you one more after that. So these are the ones, these matras, that those particular letters by which this Pancha Prithvi is having. And as if this matra is also like as if the mother, that's why we call mother nature. That mother is drawing these 5 indriyas all the time to her. Okay, she's though as if these children of our eyes and everything, its true mother is as if outside. That's why they go always outward for both sukha and dukkha. That's what Krishna is saying. But what Krishna is saying, though these are all happening to sparshas too, that's why tu that is putting to means though it is all doing this, Arjuna. You must think number 9, agama payinaha. Agama apayinaha. They will come and they will go, Arjuna. Tau anityaha. Te anityaha. All these ones are agama payinaha because they are of the nature of arrival and departure. And they are anityaha. They were never going to be nityam. That is the main secret that you got to observe, he's telling the student. In Nyaya Shastram, there is one is there. Yam yam agantukam tadam tadam tat yat yat agantukam tat anityam. Whatever that is saved, it is coming. Anything in this world, you can apply to anything. Whatever that you say has come into this world, that has to go. Yat agantukam tat anityam. So Bhagavan is giving him that particular of the anityam nature that has to be observed, though being in this reality, to recognize that one. Anityaha. Tasmat. It's not there, but I'm saying Bharata, number 12, Tan Titikshasva. So Bharata, Tam Titikshasva, you have to forbear it. I'm not going to give you some magic spell by which you get Teflon. He says, Titikshasva. You can forbear it. If you can't bear it, Krishna won't be saying this. And this one is just not only for the Krishna saying for the weather. It is the way that our life, that whatever that we are dependent upon, right from our mother, our daughter, our children, everything. So Krishna is conditioning him to that detachment. Yes, in this world, they will be giving you sukha dukkam. Tam titikshasva. That forbearance is 100% important as part of a sadhana chatushtayam for a particular sadhaka. Is conditioning. Samadhi shatka sampattihi. So, okay, Bhagavan. So, what is the purpose of this titikshatvam, and that how this is going to help me? So, we'll just do one more verse for today, and then we will. So, Vinay, you want to chant after me? Yam hina vyatayante te.
Yam hina vyatayantyete. Yam hina vyatayantyete.
Purusham purusharshabha.
Purusham purusharshaba. Purusham purusharshaba.
Samadukka sukham dhiram.
Samadukka sukham dhiram. Samadukka sukham dhiram.
Somrtatvaya kalpate.
Somrtatvaya kalpate. Somrtatvaya kalpate.
So he says the prayojanam. He says, look, this is just not for you to just control or anything like that. He says, you know, Arjuna, he indeed, because of the titikshatvam, that what you're going to doing in the above one, because of that. Number two, hey Purusharshabha, hey, who is the who is an ultimate like a Vira on the Purusharshabha or Kaunteya. Number three, Samadukka Sukham. The one who maintains that samabhavana, that equanimity, that feeling, that particular vision, that posture of equanimity between sukham and dukkham in the real walks of life, in every day and in this particular janma, or as we get these one in anything that could be relatively dependent on sukham and dukkham. Yam, the number 4, top, yam, dhiram, that which intelligent person, dhiram, dhiram, purusham, number 6 on top, dhiram purusham. So the one that Baba with the samadukka sukham, dhiram yam dhiram purusham. Number 7, yete. What is that yete? That matra sparsha on the top sentence. Yete is equal to the one in the from the previous sentence, that agama payinaha shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Yete is equal to shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Very important. Yete, number 8, na, number 10, vyatayanti. Yete na vyatayanti, sorry, number 9, vyatayanti. Number 7, ete. Number 8, na. Number 9, vyatayanti. Ete te sitoshna sukha dukkadaha na vyatayanti. Avar onnu aattika mudiyadhu abingiradhu. You know, vyatayanti means that which got impacted, that which has got affected, that which has got some, every cause has got an effect. Yes, nobody can come out of this cause and effect, but internally he is not affected. He knows, okay, I have to take some protection, or I have to take some, I have a problem, I have to treat it, or I have to take protection, but they are agama payinaha. That is my feeling. What is it going to happen end of the day? That kind of a anitya bhavana is the most important thing by which you won't get vyatayanti. So that bhavana, not only just a bhavana, that practice, that abhyasam yogam, that is the one Krishna is saying, na vyatayanti. Vyatayanti. And with that, just not you are going to say, hey, it doesn't affect me. But what does he say here? So means saha amrtatvaya kalpate. Saha amrtatvaya means saha mokshaya, muktaya kalpate. Kalpate means yoga yogyaha bhavati, that he becomes qualified. Kalpate means not that imaginary thing, don't think that. He is saying he becomes a qualified person to remove that nectar of happiness, of ultimate happiness. Saha amrtatvaya. Amrta means the nectar of ultimate happiness. To get that knowledge is just not a physical thing to say, I am Muhammad Ali, I have become so strong, I can take. No. You are conditioning your mind, your buddhi for that ultimate knowledge of Atma Jnanam Kalpate. So that is why Krishna is saying, hey, first he gave that knowledge of Atma Jnanam, and then he told him a beautiful way of taking the double negativeness to get the positivity of his existence. And then he is conditioning the student through all these 13, 14, 15 with a proper vivekam, then a vairagyam, and the moksha darshanam. And that conditioning, that what he is saying, Atma Darshanam, that mukshitvam when he comes. Then in the next class, we see in the 16, it's a beautiful verse, which has got more of Advaita Tattvam. We'll do that in the next class. So with that, I think we will finish for today. Okay. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyo Dhyayah Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Tat Sat. Okay, sorry, I was just a bit. Sorry, this. Okay, we'll chant this again. Sundar, you want to chant after me? Anybody new? Om Tat Sat.
Tachate
Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu
iti Srimad
Gitasu,
Bhagavad
Gitasu,
Upanishadsu
Upanishadsu,
Brahma Vidyayam
Brahma Vidya,
Vidyaya
Yoga Shastre
Yoga,
Yoga Shastre
Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade
Shri
Krishna
Krishna,
Arjuna Samvade
Sankhya Yogo Nama
Sankhya Yoga,
Sankhya
Dvitiyo Dhyayah.
Vidya,
Dhyaya
Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Sri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Okay, 1 second. We will just do the Gita Mahatmyam and then 1 second. Oh, it's come in English. It's okay. It's English. It's English. Okay, at least we'll chant 2, 3 and then go. It's nice. Dharo Vacha
Rova,
Raja,
Bhagavan Parameshana
Bhagavan Paramivasanam,
Bhakti Ravya Vicharini
Bhakti Ravya Vicharini, Bhakti Ravya Vicharini,
Prarabdham Bhujyamanasya
Prarabdha Manasya,
Katham Bhavati He Prabho
Katham Bhavati Prabhu, Katham
Shri Vishnuruvacha
Shri Vishnu
Prarabdham Bhujyamano Hi
Prarabdha Ujjamanohi
Gita Bhyasa Rathas Sada
Gita,
Sarata Sahada
Samukta Sasukhi Loke
Samukta
Okay.
Sukhi
Karmanano Palipyate
Karmana,
Palipate
Mahapapa Mahapapadi Papani
Mahapapa,
Ni
Gita Dhyanam Karoti Chet
Gita, Karoti Che,
Kvachit Sparsham Na Kurbhanti
Vachit,
Purati
Nalini Dalamambhuvat.
Nalini
See, this is itself tells you today also, as we saw, sparsham na kurvanti, sukha dukkaha, na sparsham kurvanti. They will never be able to come and even affect you. Like a nalini dala mambuvat, like a lotus flower in the water droplets can come on top of it, they will go away. But for the lotus flower, it doesn't even stick onto that. For whom? The Gita Dhyanam karoti ched. That Gita Dhyanam itself, with that, it has got the power. So this Mahatmyam even more, what can I say, motivates the seeker in learning Gita and doing the Abhyasam. That's one of the main thing. And I think with that, I will close for today. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namah Shri Guru. Any doubts, any of you from last class or anything? Sorry, I'll stop sharing. Any doubt? Any doubt, any of you in this
Well,
class?
Class Prabhu, I
No,
must
this,
the
Haji?
best I ever attended, Babu.
No, that's okay. No, that's fine. I
But
hope
so
this
with this time, I have been reading these Shlokas for so long, but today is the day I really got really into it.
yeah,
Very
these are, yeah, they are a bit the way Krishna puts it, I say he puts it in a very cryptic manner, but it is very interesting if you analyze the sequence. The main thing I'm trying to get is the thread, as my Gurunatha Omkar Swami say, that particular link to 1 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5 is important to get the message in a whole, and that Krishna's subtle connection of the thread in between is beautiful as we, take
Yeah.
and I hope it is making sense. Yeah, no
Sorry, I had a
problem.
question.
Haji, yes,
Um,
yes, Meshi.
How you said Akasham, Vayu, Agni.
Yeah,
What is Prithvi?
lam, gandham.
What is Gandham?
Means vasana.
Oh, smell. Okay.
If fact you see the olden days, the man vasana they say, in Tamil, man vasana. They never say man for taste. In those days, if farmers, the way they used to know how the soil is, they smell it. They smell the soil and say, oh, this soil is good for this plant, this one. How they knew how that smell is taught from the father to son? No. But in India, I've heard people used to just smell the soil and say, oh, this soil is good for that.
Okay.
So smell comes from soil only.
Okay.
And same thing, taste come only. See that is in chapter 7, you will see, Krishna will say, and if you really say the same thing with water, water gives the taste, but water is tasteless.
Yes.
But if you take anything that is very tasty, remove completely dehydrated, the taste will go.
Yes.
So Krishna will say that in chapter 7 in that beautifully again, more in these aspects of it.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Anything else? Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Sorry,
You
Akasha.
said not for Prithvi it is Gandham, that is smell. For Agni it is sight, Ram. What about Ham and Yam? Akasham and Vayu.
Akasham Shabdam.
Akash Shabdam. Okay.
Yeah, you remember we used to give that physical lab and you put in a vacuum, sound never travels.
True.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, Akasham Shabdam.
Vayu.
Vayu is Vayu is touch. I told no. When there is today also when there's a lot of wind, they say the temperature feels colder if on a colder day. Because they will say today temperature is 12, because it's windy, you feel like 8. Because of Vayu.
And
Vayu is, yes.
And the fire is?
Rupam. For tree, yeah. For seeing eyesight.
Rupam, okay.
Yeah. Agni is Rupam. Those are the 5 matra.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, ji, no problem. Hari Om. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ji.